Hail the Blades, my name is Vartvarika. Some time ago, I believe last week, Ryuuku posted a video about the ecosystem in Wuthering Waves, how that he thinks that it is broken, and how he could fix it. Now, that video made me mad. It did, I'm not gonna lie, made me a bit angry, because I think that in that video he was kind of unfair. But I wasn't mad for long, because in 6 hours or so, Ryuuku went into Saint's chat and for some reason just threw a tantrum there. Now, some people might say that tantrum is an over-exaggeration, but the point still stands. Motherfucker seemed kind of mad and aggressive, like, for no reason. So I just thought, why don't we try to dive into the system and why people think that it is broken. Now, how does the ecosystem work? We have 3 points here. First of all, it is echoes themselves, right? Echoes are something like, artifacts or relics or drive disks in Hoyo games, or any artifact system in any game, right? The only difference is that we actually can farm echoes in the overworld almost indefinitely, right? They drop from mobs, which are called Taced discards in WoW, right? With the 20% chance, I believe it's 20% chance, on the max level. There is a pity system on them, but I'm not gonna really dive into that right now. Then the second point is tubes, right? Tubes are the things that you use to upgrade your echoes. They give your echoes experience. You can upgrade an echo up to the level plus 25, and every level, which is kind of logical, right, costs more EXP than the previous one. And the third point is tuners. Tuners is something that you use to actually unlock your substats, since when you have like an echo that is dropped on +0 level, it has only a main stat. You can unlock an substat on every 5th level, so basically +10, +5, +10, sorry, +15, +20, and +25. You always use 10 tuners per substat. Now, important to mention that there is a way to recycle echoes. It is either to melt them to melt an already upgraded one. It is important, an already upgraded one, because you cannot melt +0 echoes into other echoes, right? You either melt an upgraded echo into another echo, or you use a trash bin function that literally deletes an upgraded echo, or not upgraded echo actually, and then gives you 70% of your XP and 30% of your tuners back. The same thing goes for melting your echoes into another echoes, but actually if you are not +25 banging everything, it is more efficient to use the trash bin. Now, there are a few problems that have been discussed in the community concerning the echo system overall, starting with the Exp Deficit. And you kind of know what I'm gonna say, right? That it's a self-inflicted issue. We don't like.
There isn't an exact scarcity. You just have to automatic issues. I've got hundreds of tubes and many characters build up. See, there's no problem with the game. It's new. If you just level them in the tuners, you get more than the top civil with no problem. It's not experience, that's the problem. It's the tuners. Yeah. Whatever. Shut the fuck up.
So, okay, someone might say,
we have an XP scarcity issue. I'm gonna +25 ban every echo, aka waste a ton of resources. Even though I'm warned that I'm gonna waste a ton of resources, I still refuse to +5, +10 and tune once. I think that it is a game issue, it's not a player issue, so the Kuro should, not should, they must make echo XP infinite.
Yeah, like whatever, shut the fuck up. Oh yeah, and also, here's my account that proves that you are 100% wrong, so you can fuck right off and kill yourself. Now, bullshit aside, I want to explain why I think that Ryuuku is wrong in his video. But before that, just for you to understand, I want to explain the quote-unquote sweaty way of upgrading your echoes. When you pick an echo, the idea is that you use 1 golden tube and 10 tuners to reveal the first substat that it has. Here you have a choice. If the revealed substat is bad, like, I don't know, flat defense or some damage bonuses that you don't need, right? You can just use that trash bin and throw it out. If it's a good one, like crit rate, crit damage, maybe attack percent or ER, you just continue up until the amount of bad substat rolls are more than the amount of good substat rolls. Why is it that this method is better than plus 25 booming? Well, the reason for that is that you need more and more experience every time you level up an echo. This method lets you identify which echoes are borderline horrible or have a very low chance of being actually good. So you throw them out before wasting resources on the highest level of upgrading. If you want to find out more like about trash bin or just how to use your resources properly, you should check out Saint's Echo 101 video where he explains everything and in detail. But actually, something very strange came up. Ryuuku on his Twitter said that he always uses this sweaty method. And I thought about it for a pretty long time. I was thinking, was I wrong? Was Mr. Pocky right and I just quit HSR because I was greedy and stupid? But then I found Ryuku's VOD of the stream where he was upgrading his Carlotta. Let's count inconsistencies. 1. His Carlotta has 26.8% crit rate and 324% crit damage, meaning he uses a crit damage main echo with her Sig and complains about how hard it is to build characters. Those stats are on Carlotta that doesn't have 1 costs at all. The slots are empty, and again I repeat, he complains about how hard it is to build his characters. He has 134 cubes, energy cubes, in his inventory and talks about struggling. A more forgiving one, he uses food to farm 4 cost echoes, which, it's not a big of a deal, right? But if you wanna, again, find out why it's not that great, check out Saint's vid. And 5. Just watch.
So, this was not. So I'm using this. I'm using all those first. Yep. Well, this sounds beautiful. Let's see. Damage defense. Yeah, that's it. What do you know? You do one more? Do you think you try? Do you think you try? You just keep going. One more, yeah. Not 25 though. Well, you said 25 good. Is it enough? Yeah, no, yes, no, that's it. You guys are all trolls now, right? So repeat. Maxing out echo is a 12.8% chance of getting through. You have a 6 chance of getting through in first. So, that's exactly. That was lovely. See? I'm telling you, this account is absolutely cursed. I'm not kidding. Hell no. No, not happening. This is the kind of luck I've been having on this account since launch. I'm not kidding. Thank you very much. Yep. Nope. This is the kind of luck I'm having, guys. You think the leveling method works? You think it works? No, it's placebo. You only think it works. It doesn't. It actually doesn't. And you
So what did he do wrong? His plus 21 level echo, after recycling with the trash bin specifically, right, would give him 12.6 golden tubes. After tuning his echoes a bunch of times, he was left with the level 13, but we'll count that it's level 14 because it almost reached it. With his level 14 echo, that after recycling gives him 4.9 golden tubes. A bit less, but it doesn't really matter, right? What he could have done instead is get the 12.6 golden tubes from his recycled plus 21 level echo, then spend 2 tubes to tune the 2 echoes that he had in with the back first mainstat, then use 8 of these tubes to roll the crit damage one, then he could have recycled them all, being left with the 9.6 golden tubes, and
he would have been able to upgrade the ER Echo to level 10, and also have enough to upgrade it to even to level 15 to check out if it is a good or a bad Echo. If it would have been a bad Echo, he could have recycled it and still left with 7.2 golden tubes.
Now, some might say that the difference between 7.2 and 4.9 isn't that big, but he just threw out of the window 35% of his Echo experience. Which is like, it's a fucking big number considering the amount of Echoes that we recycle every day when rolling. It means that his man doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, and also proceeds to lie about it on Twitter. Well done, Ryuuku. It is indeed a placebo, as you said.
A quick turn in from the house. I have no fucking idea how this happened, but for some reason I thought that the amount of XP that you get in return while recycling your Echoes is 70% instead of 75, which is actually in the game. So, I mean, it is weird. I also counted the amount of EXP that Ryuuku had in his level plus 21 Echo, and for some reason he had 93.5k in it, when the threshold of hitting level plus 21 is 89.6k. I also have no idea how he hit level plus 21 in the first place, because I don't believe he was going from the level plus 25. It doesn't make any sense experience-wise. Maybe he was melting his other Echoes into this one, and didn't know that he's gonna waste a fucking level because he is stupid or some shit. I have no idea. Yeah, but it is what it is. Let's just count that he has 18 tubes in his level plus 21 instead of 19. So in the end, in his clip, the net worth, quote-unquote net worth of his level 14 Echo, that it wasn't actually level 14, but it is what it is 5.25 tubes, golden tubes. It is if he recycle it with a trash bin. If he would recycle his Echo plus 21 Echo in the first place and did the sweaty method correctly and not like a retard, he would have left with what the fuck is this number? With am I stupid? With 9. He would have left with 9 tubes. Now, some people might say that it's not big of a deal, no, but I'm just gonna tell you numbers. 9 is actually 171% of 5.25. And 5.25 is actually 41.6% of the 9. So consider it like how you like, but Ryuuku wasted a ton of the fucking XP there.
Tech Town, when reacting to Ryuuku's vid, said a very important thing about the interface not being beginner friendly. And it's a pretty big issue that I acknowledge, because indeed the method of plus 5 tune, plus 10 tune, or throwing your Echoes in the bin instead of melting them, is actually not intuitive and is not even hinted in the game. But I think that this issue can be easily fixed in a couple of steps. First of all, I think that Kuro 100% should put like upgrading and tuning on the same screen, so you don't have like, you know, to jump between the menus, because it is annoying, and I believe it's like one of the main reasons why people actually plus 25 ban and then tune. Maybe even they should completely remove the ability to upgrade your Echo past every 5th level unless you tune them, because it will actually like just ban the ability to waste your resources. But I think a lot of people won't be really happy with it, and sometimes it is actually fun to just plus 25 ban like for the sake of it, right? Now, the second thing that Kuro should probably do is add a detailed, non-obligatory guide with some rewards of like, you know, tubes, tuners, and Echo boxes that will explain how to manage your Echo resources wisely. and warning players that if you plus 25 ban every echo, you will run out of tubes really fast. And the third thing is actually laying on the shoulders of content creators. That is specifically beginner guides. Beginner guides on different parts of the game, including the echo, like for example, Saintontas's Echo 101 guide, which will bring awareness to the community and help players not, again, waste their resources. I hope I explained my thoughts well enough, so we're gonna jump to the next issue. Now, the other problem that is considered in the Wuthering Waves space is tuners. You run out of tuners insanely fast, if you're not Ryuuku, of course, right? And they function as like the second limit while you're upgrading your echoes, because you're already limited by echo XP, but tuners limit you even more. And it is bad. Conceptually, it is horrible, right? Now, I don't personally think that they should remove tuners completely, even though it's a very reasonable ask. I just personally like tuners. I think that it's a way that WoWA kind of differentiates itself from Hoyoverse games, even though the implementation is horrible. So like, it's not a very good way to differentiate itself, but I mean, it is what it is sometimes. So, I will propose some ways that I think will help Wuthering Waves fix the tuner problem and not break the game potentially, right? So first of all, I think that Kuro should increase the amount of resources that we gain from tested fields, specifically resources, not echoes, that we gain from tested fields twice, thrice, or maybe even 4 times. It will give players a reliable source of tuning materials that will help them in the long run. And in addition to that, I think that they should add an event that will allow players to convert up to 100 tubes into up to 1k tuners or something, and vice versa, of course, which will fix a lot of problems, specifically the self-inflicted issue of exp scarcity, the issue of tuner deficit. It will improve overall experience of rolling your echoes and won't break the game as Ryuuku's system would. And also, by the way, in addition to this, the converter will help people that were plus 25 banging their echoes. It will help people to kind of recover if they want to start a plus 5 tune, plus 10 tune in the kind of a sweaty way. Though, again, to be fair, removing them would be just easier. Third problem is RNG. So some people argue that there is too much randomness while rolling your echoes. Some people, for example, like Tectone, also even said that Kuro should remove flat attack and both HPs and defenses from the pools. I disagree with it completely. Right now, we have 13 potential substats in the pool. 4 types of damage, 2 crits, 2 HPs, 2 defenses, 2 attacks, and ER. An average character requires 2 crits as their main priority, and then something like attack percent, damage type boost, and sometimes ER. So using combinatorics, current system grants us a 3.5% chance of getting a good echo. I should display it somewhere on the screen, right? But if we remove HP's, defenses, and flat attack from the pool, we get a 17.89 chance of getting a good echo. It's a three-liner, by the way. Three-liner is crit damage, crit rate, and specifically attack percent, which is like a bit more than 5 times the fucking probability. And this is not accounting the fact that attack percent and damage bonus are interchangeable. Meaning that the chances of getting CRCT and either attack percent or damage bonus percent, one specific damage bonus percent, in both scenarios are 6.3% and 28.57% respectively. Some might argue that 6.3% is too low, and I'll just say that it actually isn't. With the current system, you can have a decent build in like 2 weeks, right? While in Hoya games, you can farm for a fucking month and don't get a rollable piece. What this change will do, I'm talking about removing HP's defenses and a flat attack, basically every 4th echo is gonna be good, meaning that god rolls are much easier to get, meaning that everybody has them, meaning that there is no incentive to grind echoes anymore, meaning the game is dead 3 days after each banner release. Now, a Ryuuku system. I also am gonna read this because there is a lot of things to go over. Right? 1. Echo XP should be infinitely farmable. Tecton already addressed this in his React, but I'll just repeat. If you make resources, be it tubes or tuners, infinitely farmable, you will just force players to grind them repeatedly, or they fall behind, which will increase the amount of elitist mentality, right? And also it will cause player burnout, meaning that the player won't to log into the game and is more likely to quit. Also, I want to point out that later in the video, Ryuuku proposed to add a tube domain at Yan, which doesn't make any sense because tubes are already infinitely farmable. So like, what the fuck? You're just placing a trap for new players that will spend their wave plates instead of using their wave plates to, upgrade their characters. Or even like for Taced fields which will give them tuners. Then second point is that making Taced fields cost 30. I think that it is actually a bad idea, and not for the reason you might think. Making the Taced fields cost 30 instead of 60 as right now is extremely annoying, because you will have to complete your Taced fields 4 times if you do actually claim double rewards. Ryuuku also proposed an fucking alternative, right, of making the double drop event 3 times a day, which I also think is a bad idea, because you will be still forced to complete the Taced fields 4 times, because for some fucking reason you cannot double the double drops, right? So basically just doubling, tripling or quadrupling the flat amount, like permanently, the amount of resources that you gain from Taced fields is actually, like, it's just easier. Making echo domains, or not echo domains but Taced fields, have only 1 type of echoes instead of 2. I think, well, first of all, it has a map space problem that will probably make, the map oversaturated with Taced fields. I'm not sure specifically, but, like, it is my opinion. And also, a very important question that I have, why aren't we holding Hoyoverse to this standard? They have been making the double domain, like, since the fucking start of the world. So, like, what the fuck? Making echoes have either guaranteed or weighted chance of having the same damage bonus as the set. I don't actually think that it's a good idea. First of all, not every echo has a specific stat that it wants. For instance, right, Rejuvenating Glow, that most characters use on ER, can actually be used on damage bonus on characters like Shorekeeper if you have already reached their 250 ER requirement. I believe it's 250 ER requirement, right? Or you may not use the damage bonus but attack for some characters like S-Rover or Janshin if they are used as a sustain. The other example is gonna be Lingering Tunes that, it's quite logical to put attack, right? But due to the diminishing returns, now Lingering Tunes is gonna be even more fucking useless. The second reason why I think that the idea is kind of bad is that devs use a wrong mainstat on some sets. For example, the new coordinated attack set, right? If you actually look at the boxes, it has ER in the mainstat, which is like, why the fuck would you put even ER there? The most logical thing would be attack, but for some reason devs put ER. Thirdly, considering that echoes are almost infinitely farmable, ask that we should have either guaranteed or weighted chance of having the same damage bonus as the set is kind of unreasonable. The Substat rerolling. I just think that it's too early. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I think that it's too early, and I also don't think that tuners should be doing it. No, the Substat rerolling is introduced when, mainly because there is too many characters to build that players cannot keep up, the newer players cannot keep up with the meta. We don't have really that much characters that we have to build right now, especially considering that we almost don't have power creep. So like, why would you even add echo reroll in the first place, right? To be fair, we have like some difficult to build characters like Rocha, and Brand is coming out soon, but they are two sub DPSs that you don't really need. Like Rocha, for example, is just a longer rotation, more damage Sanhua, and Brand is literally a sub DPS for Chun-Li that is already kinda hard to build, and Chun-Li is a character that like 90% of people who pulled her, they fucking benched her. So I believe Brand is also gonna be fucking benched. So I don't think that it's even it's a need to have echo rerolling in the first place, at least right now. Plus, the numbers that Ryuuku proposed are kinda scuffed. Because, well, 50 for reroll is too much when you have like a guaranteed substat on 200 tuners. Why? For example, if you have a 3-liner, specifically CR, CD and attack, and you wanna get a 4th line, for example ER or damage bonus. I'm not including fillet attack because if you have rerolling, you kinda wanna reroll for the attack because like the buff is kind of mid, right? So if you have the 3-liner CR, CD attack percent, rerolling is fucking useless. Why? Because you have 25% chance to get the stat that you need in one reroll, right? So why would you run them if the probability of you getting the stat you need in 4 rolls, which is 200 tuners, is 68.36% instead of 100, right? But this is also important. This is if you cannot reroll a stat into the same stat. So like you cannot reroll defense and you get defense immediately. And if you've got a 4-liner and want to roll a 5th stat, you've got a 12.5% chance of getting the stat you need in one roll and 41.36% of getting it in 4 rerolls, so basically in 200 tuners. So basically rerolling is kind of useful only on 2-liners. There is like 80-something% chance of getting it, so like it's still not guaranteed. So why would you do that even? A very, very long way of saying that we don't need tuner reroll and we don't need tuner guarantee, and also that I know a bit of math. If Kuro will indeed introduce the system of reroll, it will be much later, and it won't be specifically tuners, but like a new thing that is with the tuner name. Like, yeah, if you wanna go into lore of tuners, it will be called like ancient tuners or some shit, like specifically the new resource that you cannot get while farming Taced fields. It's kind of all that I wanted to talk about. I have shit out all of my fucking thoughts that I wanted to say about the current ecosystem. I hope that I explained myself well. If I did some mistakes in calculations or some logical mistakes, like let me know. And yeah, hail the blades. When I was editing the vid, Ryuuku posted a new one, responding to Tectone's criticism, and also, by the way, spreading elitist mentality.
Specifically because out of all the people that have responded, I feel like he's the only one that has any real degree of experience in the gacha genre. Unlike some who have only played Hoyo games and Wuthering Waves and quite frankly don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
So I'm just gonna quickly respond to those and move on. First, Ryuuku didn't understand why farming overworld for echoes is actually much better than farming overworld for XP. Here's why. Let's take a POV of someone like Ryuuku, a person who doesn't use the sweaty method or uses it incorrectly, so he has no tubes and a very ton, like fuck me dead, of tuners. And let's just say this person wants really good echoes. So they grind for them over and over again. 1 day, 2, 3. It starts to feel like a chore. And they're like, nah, fuck chores. Nah, bro, I wanna have fun. But echoes though. Echo. But fuck chore. And they force themselves to continue grinding. Because they want good echoes. What this leads to that they farm 1 day, 2, 3, and they burn out. They say, let's take a day off. And after this day off, they are like, nah, let's take another one, and another one, and another one, and they will quit. It's even worse when a content creator like Ryuuku, a very respected content creator in the space, spreads misinformation that the sweaty method is a placebo and it doesn't work, meaning that the person will not ever use it because he respects Ryuuku and his takes are actually very valuable to the community. So why would he be wrong? Saying that there is no progression in Wuwo's ecosystem is literally bullshit, because actually you have a lot of progression when you use the sweaty method correctly, and even if you don't, you still have this progression, even though it is much slower, unlike the other Hoyo games. Also, by the way, the progression doesn't have to be vertical, it can also be horizontal. For example, instead of rolling for 5 liners for Mei Chun-Li, I can just build another character like Danjin, or like have a Grover, or any fucking character at all. His MMO comparison was borderline dogshit, and it's not on Tecton for not getting what Ryuuku meant, because MMOs include multiplayer, so it doesn't make any fucking sense, especially when you yourself, Ryuuku yourself in his second video, said that gacha MMOs suck. So why the fuck would you compare those? A better example would be Souls-like games or Zelda series, for example, because people can choose the tempo they are doing things in those games. But unfortunately for Ryuuku, we already have this ability. It's called echo farming. We don't need to be encouraged to play even fucking more, because I already explained why. Data merging is a really interesting one, because it is actually better than Genshin Strongbox, and the reason for that is the fact that we can infinitely farm the overworld for echoes, while Genshin's artifacts are fucking time gated, so what are you talking about?